4 seconds. Good morning, APAC! We are live today to bring you the hottest bots that has ever been brought in the world. We'd like to thank you for joining us today. It's going to be a whole blast. We're trying to stay excited because it's going to be a very long 24 hours, as you will learn. And with that, tribute to Robin Williams, I would like to say, let's kick this off. So, welcome to Boss of the Sock 5, just another Northern Hemisphere Summer Monday. We're super excited to bring this to you. It's a brand new Boss of the Sock. We have incredible new content from all over the world. We've had teams from Australia, from America, from Switzerland, from the UK, everywhere contributing for the last 9 to 10 months to bring you this brand new system. For those of you who've already logged in, you've seen some giant changes over the years that we've done previously, and I think you're going to be really pleased by what we're going to bring you this year for Boss of the Sock 5 at the .conf kickoff. If you've never done a Boss of the Sock, I want to tell you a little bit about what it is. The first thing to know is we created this to get out of booth duty at a conference. That's it. Everything after that has been gravy. The second reason we created this is because over the years of going to hacker conferences and security conferences around the world, we realized there wasn't really a great blue team CTF, and we wanted to create it. There were wonderful things offered by SANS and other places, but we wanted to create one that was actually Splunk-centric, that would teach you things about Splunk, teach you about cybersecurity. It would be as realistic as possible. It would pull from the headlines of the world. It's going to be mapped to MITRE ATT&CK. Everything you see today, and for the last 5 years that we've done this, has been incredibly realistic and tied to the truth. And lastly, we want to make it as fun and weird and Splunky as possible. So you're going to see everything from Bernese mountain dogs to hamsters to weird used car salesmen. If you've never done a Boss of the Sock before, you should know that you're going to be playing as the plucky antagonist of Alice Bluebird. She works at a small home brewery startup. Alice is a cybersecurity professional. She runs the security for this startup of now about 20 people as it's grown over the years. And she, like everyone else, has been affected by the last couple months. Frothly, this small company, has actually gone fully remote, like many of us in the world, and has had to deal with the consequences of that. For those of you who have been following Alice over the years, you know that she normally goes to Burning Man in August and takes her sabbatical, but sadly it's an empty playa in the Nevada desert. She would then go to DEF CON or Black Hat, but sadly the InfoSec conferences are all canceled. So really, she's down to playing Bengals albums in her basement and dreaming of just another Northern Hemisphere Summer Monday. And what do we mean by that? We mean that the days go on and on and on. And August, April, March, June, July, they've all seemed to bleed together. And we try to recreate that in the scenario this year. You'll notice the little flames. Those are all the places in August and July that poor Alice has had actual issues. So she's had a month of them, and there's been a whole bunch of changes in Frothly since last time we visited her. Now we have Kubernetes in the network. We've actually bought and worked to get a whole new weird genome with toads going. There's GCP. There's a traditional APT scenario using Windows Sysmon and network data. And then we even have a whole scenario just based on AWS. On top of that, we have weird used car salesmen who are trying to VPN into networks, and we'll see how that goes for poor Richard. But there's a lot of big differences this year that we wanted to bring you. This is a little bit of a public service announcement. First thing is, when you log in, you're going to be presented with all these different scenarios. This is way different than the previous years. When you click on one of these, in this case, I've clicked on Kubernetes, you'll notice that there's a whole bunch of things and new ideas here. Now, these questions haven't been unlocked for you yet. They're going to be unlocked in about 26 minutes. But when you see these questions, they're going to look like this. Oops, there we go. You'll see the actual background for the question. When you click into that, you'll get more information, be able to actually answer it. There's an actual amount of value per question. 100 points means it's a pretty easy question. 2,000 points means you're probably going to spend 6 days on it and start crying. It will be very difficult. But that gives you a good idea of the basic levels. Then you'll see this status total questions. This is actually for you and your whole team. So it tells you know what questions have been answered, not answered, that are incorrect by each individual scenario. Resources. This is a huge difference from previous years. Resources are what you actually use to log onto the system. So you're going to see these resources pop up, and if they don't pop up, wait for about 4 to 5 minutes. There's a little script in the background that's kind of refreshing as we go. And that's the actual server for every scenario that you use. After that, you have the actual username, which you see here is user 00-bots v5 for me. And then the password is furthest. So those are the resources with the username and password. Now, this is a really key thing to know. Much like a bad metaphor of John Donne, in this case, actually, every scenario is its own island. It is actually different with different resources combined for each one. So what do I mean by that? Those servers are actually unique to each scenario. So if you're trying to find data that looks like APT, but all you see are Kubernetes, it probably means you're on the wrong server. Thankfully, our scenario Oompa Loompas have gone through and actually branded each one of these servers to have a unique look when you log in and when you actually play. So hopefully you understand. But just know, each one of those servers is different, and data on each one is different. You'll notice that there's also additional artifacts for the scenario. Sometimes these scenarios need more things. In this case, you can see for the APT scenario, we actually give you the diamond model for the adversary in the APT scenario. And there's also an MP3 of John Stoner's greatest emo hits from his band he had in 1997. Hints. This is a huge, exciting difference that we're very excited to bring you. You actually all get hints. Everyone gets hints, and they're going to be in a timed release. You're no longer going to buy them, okay? So what we mean here, and this screen shows a question where you would put in your answer. This is actually the hints. You see one's already been released, and then you'll notice right below it, the hints are released on a time basis. I believe for this competition, you'll see a hint in the first hour, second, third, and then the last half hour. Everyone gets them. It's socialism at its best. We hope you enjoy. Scoring algorithm hasn't changed for 5 years. Why change perfection is my belief. In this case, you'll always get your base points for a correct answer. So if we say you had a 1,000-point question, you'll always get 1,000 points. If you answer in the very beginning of the competition, you'll get 1,000 points extra, so 100%. If you answer that question halfway through, you get 500 extra points. If you answer it at the end, you get no extra points. That's called the speed bonus. The faster you answer, the faster you get, or more points you get. We do have a small penalty for wrong answers, and that's called our brute force mitigation. It's only 10 points per answer, and hopefully between the hints and everything else going on, you won't find that to be too big of an issue. Regional standings. So we know we're playing 3 different competitions. We're playing APAC, Europe, and also America. We're only going to give you the results for your specific scenario, and we're going to do provisional winners at the end of this. You can find all the results, and the scoring is actually in the server on boss.splunk.com, and then later on, we'll actually be doing global winners announced at the super session for .conf, and then we'll be doing a Twitch stream on Tuesday that will be recorded then on demand at 5 p.m. in Pacific time, where we're going to go over all the winners after we've actually reviewed all the data, verify there's no cheating. We're going to go through all the data, talk about the top 3 winners for each region, the global winners, and then answer the 3 hardest questions that people had problems with on that Twitch stream. So, a little bit of a bonus round. We're really excited to bring to you today a micro CTF. And what do we mean by that? That we're going to be bringing enterprise security in its own beautiful CTF created by our very own Lily Lee. You're going to log into the system. It's going to have a whole bunch of data throughout the month. You're going to be using adaptive response actions. You're going to go through next steps. You're going to explore all different sorts of frameworks throughout the enterprise security system. And it's going to actually allow you to see some more of the tool than you might have not seen before. I'm not saying enterprise security won't be in other scenarios, but what I am saying is we've dedicated a whole playground to it for people who love enterprise security. Tips and tricks. So what are some great ideas? First off, always keep it simple. I'm not a smart man. I can't think too hard, and I certainly can't cut and paste very long URLs. So for the most part, if you think the answer is going to be 190 or 256 characters, you're probably wrong. It's probably going to be a very short domain, for example. If it is going to be long and complex, we'll have guidance in the answer guidance for the question. They'll explain it completely for you so that you can figure out what you're supposed to put in. Rules. We've added a new rule this year. Life has changed. The first thing is go easy on expensive or slow searches. You shouldn't need them. Please try not to do index equals star, star dot star, things like that. You're playing on the server with your team, so you're only hurting yourself. Second, don't be evil. Be a good person. If you have to think about if I'm doing a bad thing, you probably are. Just don't do that. We're using Discord. Please don't be a butthead. Just be good. Don't change teams once we start. Now, what do we mean by this? We have an asterisk. This rule is in place because this year we're letting people form and change their own teams within the system, which is really great because it saves us about 150 hours. However, we did realize that it could have resulted in someone towards the end of Boss of the Sock doing a super team of high scores from across the competition. We would consider that cheating. It would fall under the don't be evil rule, and then we'd kick you off the system because bots administrators' decisions are final. Saying that, if you don't have a team, go into the single mingle channel in Discord and find some people. You know, you got a 45 minutes or 60 minutes, and after that, we're going to reach out to you if we see you changing teams. But that's the idea behind that rule. Responsible disclosure. So this is a blue team CTF. It's not a red team CTF. We didn't design these systems to be hacked. We have done extensive security testing, and we are splunking all the back-end data. But every year, we always find a couple things throughout the year. If you do accidentally fall upon something, please let us know. We usually help you out, might give you a challenge coin, something along those lines. If we find you intentionally hacking or trying to cause havoc within the system, we will immediately kick you off the gameplay. So please, once again, just be a good person. What if I need help? So I love this image because it's actually from the first Boss of the Sock 1.0, the very portly Ryan Kovar standing, giving some advice to people in Florida in 2016. We're not allowed to bring you portly Ryan in person, so we've done it virtually with Discord. So hopefully you've already logged on to Discord. Each one of you should have received a unique link. Once you log in, you're going to see a whole plethora of different chat rooms and options. You'll notice on the far left, there's scenario questions. Inside the scenario questions are coaches and content creators who can actually help you and go one-to-one if you need some clarification. Other than that, we have general chat, which is just kind of fun and overall environment information, general questions, which might be about the scoring server if you're having a problem logging in, and then single mingle, which is designed for people who don't have a team who want to join one. Feel free to hit single mingle and try to find some friends. Lastly, but not least, as always, John Stoner is doing a wonderful job DJing. If you want to tune in and hear his awesome emo playlist from his band in 1997 called The Loners, feel free to log on to the music channel, and he'll be streaming that all day. Finally, with Discord, you'll notice there's an announcements channel. You're probably already getting pinged. You'll see our phenomenal Katie Brown, the server overlord. She's administering Discord, and she's going to be pumping out information through the announcements. Prizes, there are no prizes. We don't get to give money for anything. So the best thing that will happen is you'll get a really gooby, very specific trophy that we'll announce on the Twitch stream on Tuesday for the top 3 winners. One more thing, though. Not every website you see in the competition is still around. Some of them are. Some you actually have to go to. Others you don't. Nothing on the internet is forgotten, though. So don't forget, if you don't see it online, make sure you pivot into DNS, passive DNS, or into different online data sources that would actually have the metadata from the websites. Use open source intelligence. For most of the questions in Splunk, you're able to answer them just using the tools within Splunk in that scenario. However, for the harder questions, you are absolutely going to have to pivot outside of Splunk and come back into Splunk and then pivot back out and go on a wild egg chase, just like your day job. So don't forget that the answers aren't all in Splunk. Sometimes you will have to go off in the big bad internet and find new things. We always say this every year, but take good notes. Use this like a real incident. One of the biggest amounts of feedback we get when we actually do surveys at the end is we find that people forgot to take notes and that they already answered it, but they forgot to write down some of the evidence that they had to go back through. So just like Trogdor, the Burnator says, is take good notes. Finally, I'm going to do a little bit of a bots pledge drive here. We love bringing you Boss of the Sock every year. But one thing we have to do is be part of the .conf family because we are the actual kickoff for .conf. They don't agree with that, but I'm going to say it here on Twitch because there's probably no one watching it. However, for those of you who are, we need you, if you haven't already, to register with your email address that you're playing bots. Register with conf.splunk.com. We have actually sent out lots of emails. We've gone through. We can see who has and who hasn't. It would be much easier for us if you guys would just go ahead and register for conf.splunk.com. That way we can make sure that we're playing in the good family and that we get funded to bring this for you next year. Now, it would not be Boss of the Sock without swag, and we will be doing swag. At the end of the competitions, we'll be sending out a link to a quick survey, and at the end of the survey, we'll actually send you to a URL that'll let you order swag. So you're gonna get some patches and maybe a little bit else, and we're gonna send that anywhere in the world. So from Mongolia to Montreal to Missouri, you all get to have a patch. You just need to fill out the survey and then put your information in the Halo page, and you'll get that at the end. And finally, my favorite part of every Boss of the Sock. Suspend your disbelief. What do we mean by that? A lot of people spend a lot of time, mostly volunteer time over the last year, trying to make an awesome competition for you, and occasionally our data is not perfect. So pretend you're like this guy's best friend driving a Suzuki Samurai off a bridge towards a stone god in the background to blow up a helicopter just to save your buddy, and just suspend disbelief. We really have tried the best we can to bring you an awesome situation, an awesome game. And if it doesn't quite look perfect, know that we did our best and just look past that, just like my mother did. Now, final next steps. Log in to boss.splunk.com if you hadn't already, and then also log into Discord where we're going to be doing more announcements. In approximately 14 minutes, we're going to be going live and questions will be released. If you have any problems or issues, feel free to hit general questions on Discord and ask it. If you're not able to get to Discord yet, go ahead and email boss@splunk.com and we will answer them for you if we can and try to get going. We'll start at 30 minutes past the hour. Thank you so much for once again letting us bring you the weirdest, zaniest CTF in the world. We have a great time doing it, and we hope you guys will enjoy everything we do. So with that, I will say farewell. We'll see you on the Discord servers, and may the odds ever be in your favor. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.